The jungle went silent, and in the very next second, everything exploded. A massive python tightened its grip, coil after coil, around a lone silverback gorilla. The air itself seemed to shrink as the pressure built. Leaves trembled. The ground quivered. And in the center of it all, a battle for life had already begun. The gorilla roared, raw, powerful, defiant. His hands clamped around the snake's thick neck, muscles surging, veins rising beneath his skin. But the python didn't let go. It squeezed harder. Relentless. Unfeeling. This wasn't just a fight. This was survival at its most brutal. Would strength be enough? Or was this the moment the jungle claimed another life? But to understand how it reached this terrifying point, we have to go back. Just a few hours earlier, when everything felt safe. The morning had opened in peace. Sunlight spilled through the dense green canopy, painting golden patterns across the forest floor. The air was warm and heavy, filled with the scent of damp earth and blooming plants. Insects hummed softly. Leaves whispered in the breeze. It was the kind of calm that makes you forget how dangerous the wild truly is. In the middle of that quiet world, a young gorilla played without a care. He tumbled through the grass, full of clumsy energy. One moment he was chasing a bright butterfly, the next he was inspecting a leaf like it held the secrets of the world. He even tried to beat his chest, soft little thumps that sounded more playful than powerful. Then he tripped, and looked up instantly. Because he knew someone was always watching. Not far away, resting on a fallen log, sat the silverback. Massive. Calm. Unshakable. His body looked relaxed, but his eyes never stopped moving. Watching. Listening. Protecting. Every sound, every shift in the forest passed through him first. And every few seconds, his gaze returned to the small, playful figure nearby. This wasn't just a leader. This was a guardian. But the jungle never stays peaceful for long. Hidden beyond the clearing, where the sunlight barely reached, something moved. Slow. Silent. Invisible. A giant python. Its patterned body blended perfectly with the forest floor. Brown, olive, and cream scales disappearing into the leaves. It didn't rush. It didn't need to. This predator relied on patience and deadly precision. Its tongue flicked through the air, sensing warmth, sensing life. And then, it found its target. The small gorilla. Completely unaware. The snake moved closer, like a shadow sliding through the undergrowth. No sound. No warning. Just death, approaching. And then, something changed. The silverback felt it before he saw it. The insects nearby went quiet. The air shifted. A faint scent reached him, cold, unfamiliar, wrong. His head snapped up. His eyes locked onto the danger. And in that instant, everything changed. He didn't hesitate. With explosive force, he launched forward. A massive body moving with shocking speed. The ground shook beneath him as he landed and charged across the clearing. The python was seconds away from striking. But the silverback got there first. He grabbed the snake's tail and, with a roar that shook the trees, hurled it across the clearing. The massive body slammed into the bushes with a violent crash. For a brief moment, it looked like it was over. But it wasn't. The python came back. Fast. Furious. Before the gorilla could fully react, the snake struck, not with fangs, but with its entire body. It wrapped around him. One coil. Then another. Then another. Each one tighter than the last. The silverback roared in pain and rage, grabbing at the snake, trying to pull it off. His muscles bulged with effort. But the python didn't loosen. It only tightened. The pressure grew unbearable. His chest compressed. His breathing slowed. Strength, legendary strength, began to fade. Desperate, he staggered toward a tree and slammed his body against it, trying to crush the snake. Once. Twice. Again. But the python held on. Stronger. Tighter. Unstoppable. And slowly, The gorilla began to weaken. This was the moment it could all end. But his roars didn't stop. They changed. They carried something deeper. A call. A signal. A desperate cry that traveled far beyond the clearing. And somewhere in the forest, it was heard. If this story touches your heart, please share it. Miles away, the rest of the troop froze. They recognized that sound instantly. This wasn't a warning. This was danger. Real danger. Within seconds, everything changed. Mothers pulled their young close. Younger gorillas stopped moving. And the other males stood tall, alert, ready. No one needed to speak. They knew what it meant. Their leader needed them. And they moved. Fast. Through the trees, across the forest floor, crashing through branches and leaves. This wasn't quiet. This wasn't cautious. This was a rescue. They followed the sound, hearts pounding, bodies pushing harder with every second. And then, they arrived. What they saw stopped them cold. The silverback, strong, fearless, unstoppable, was trapped. Wrapped in coils. Barely moving. For a split second, the world stood still. Then instinct took over. They attacked. All at once. One gorilla lunged for the tail, biting down and pulling with everything he had. Another clawed at the coils, trying to tear them apart. A third grabbed a branch and struck the snake's body again and again. Chaos erupted. The python, built for silent ambush, was suddenly overwhelmed. Too many attackers. Too many angles. Too much pressure. It couldn't focus. It couldn't control the fight anymore. And slowly, the balance shifted. The coils loosened. Just a little at first. Then more. Until finally, the grip broke. The python released. It thrashed wildly, escaping from the chaos, and disappeared back into the jungle. Gone as quickly as it came. Silence returned. Heavy, deep. The silverback collapsed, his body trembling, chest rising and falling in ragged breaths. He was injured. Exhausted. But alive. The troop gathered around him quietly. No celebration. Just presence. Support. Care. Some began gently grooming him, clearing dirt and leaves from his fur. Others stood guard, watching the forest, ready for anything. And then, a small figure stepped forward. The young gorilla. Slow. Careful. Afraid. He approached his father and reached out a tiny hand, resting it softly on the silverback's arm. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the silverback opened his eyes. He looked at his son. And in that look, everything was said. He was still here. He had fought. And he had protected what mattered most. In the wild, survival is often about strength. But sometimes, strength isn't enough. Sometimes, what saves you is who stands beside you. This wasn't just a fight between a gorilla and a snake. It was a story about courage, about sacrifice, and about the kind of bond that refuses to break, even in the face of death. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful journeys from the wild.